All right. Welcome to this very first event at a week of real world AI. Let's see if we can start here. So this event is hosted by Nordic AI User Group, which is a quite new user group. And today I am part of the host together with Jan, and we have a special guest who's gonna share his experience with building an AI solution that is also put into production. Yannick, can you share some info about the event?
Yeah. If you're anything like we are, then you probably have heard the endless talks about AI proof of concepts, the lab tests, the experimental projects, but not nearly enough about the production-ready AI solutions in the world around us. And that's actually why we decided to create the Nordic AI User Group in the first place, and more specifically this series of events. We want to go beyond the hype and the buzzwords, where we weren't seeing any tangible, impactful AI solutions. So we created these events and we set out to find real world AI use cases, the actual implementations that are making a difference across industries and sectors today. And over the coming weeks, we have these events showing these real world AI projects beyond the POCs and the hackathons, and diving into how AI is truly being used in production. So this isn't the theory. This is the AI that's shaping the world around us right now. And today we're kicking off the tour from Smart Road.
Yeah. So with that, a big welcome to you two. It
Thank
is
you.
a great pleasure to have you here today. You and I, we met like half a year ago, where I first heard about your solution and your services, and I was totally blown by what it is that you have created. So I'm really excited to hear your presentation today. So with that, I will actually leave the stage to you. So go ahead, too.
Thank you, and thank you for the invitation. I've been looking forward to taking part in this and sharing a little bit about how AI can actually be used in very concrete situations. I'm going to talk about how you can transform your customer service team into experts with AI. And I'm going to provide some examples for how you can actually leverage the technology out there to a way that benefits you. The first thing is to start with a problem. So in this example, the problem is that customer service training teams lack the resources to efficiently prepare new agents to handle complex customer service scenarios. Also, the manual training methods create inconsistent customer service experiences, loss of reputation, and customer churn. And this is an example from our product, but you could also apply the same kind of methodology to other situations that you want to have solved. So it's really important to start out understanding the problem that you have and then see how AI can be used to solve it. And to break down this problem to smaller components, then you can look at each of the different aspects of it. So side-by-side training is time-consuming. So if we have a customer service team, let's say there are 10 people, if they hire person number 11, usually they would take one person out of production to train the new person, meaning that even though they hire one, they're actually 9 instead of 10. And that's something that, of course, the organization can feel. A problem is also when you are a customer service agent, you don't know when you're ready. You have some training material, but there is no indicator whether you're ready to speak to real customers. If I'm a contact center manager and have hired, let's say, 20, 30 agents, I don't know which one of these agents are actually ready to deal with real customers. As an agent, I also struggle to know exactly what I need to focus on to improve my skills so I can deliver a better service. And that makes me a little bit insecure because I don't know if I can answer the questions that are coming from customers. And of course, customers expect customer service agents to be experts. We also see a world where more and more conversations are being handled by chatbots. And usually a customer service agent will learn from the easy tickets. But when there are no easy tickets because they're handled by chatbots and at the same time customers expect them to be experts, it puts a lot of strain on the agent. So we need to really better prepare them so they're ready for day one. It's also a fact that training managers can evaluate conversations differently and provide different feedback to the agent. So it also plays a factor in the way that new agents are onboarded. And the bottom line here is that negative customer experiences can have a high financial and reputational cost. So it's really important to focus on delivering a really good experience. And that goes through the agents, and of course, happy agents create happy customers. So here we started with the problem about training. We broke it down into smaller components, and let's see how we can do something to solve this. In this example, we are building an AI-powered chatbot that provides customer role-playing scenarios to transform any agent into an expert from day one. So it gives you the ability to train, assess, and provide real-time insights to accelerate an agent's support skill level with any product. And how do we do that, and how do we actually use AI? For some reason, the first thing we do here is to look at a virtual customer. So we are creating role play scenarios where a virtual customer reach out and the customer service can deal with that virtual customer. So we have created a customer here called Vivian Ward. She's 22 years old and she speaks English. And here I want Vivian to have some user traits. I want her to have an email address and a phone number. And we're actually using AI to generate it based on a model on the customers that we want to create. So when I click the generate button here, then we create some user traits. So this persona that will reach out, the virtual customer, is savvy, feisty, endearing, charming, and responsible. We also have an email address and a phone number to make it a little more realistic scenario. And then we end up with this customer that is interested in reaching out to a company. Then we create a scenario. So we have a role play scenario where Vivian Ward has an issue. And to create that, we also use AI to generate a name for the scenario. It's gonna be gift wrapping options. We can also select a channel that can be chat, it can be email, it can be phone. Then we add a default prompt. So this is the case, the issue that Vivian wants to have resolved. So in this case, she wants to know what gift wrapping options are available. She's also very picky and she demands the item is delivered in red wrapping paper with a yellow bow on it. We can also provide some information to the agent so they know how to solve this particular issue. In this case, we are providing information what gift wrapping actually includes. And all of these components are something that is generated with AI. You just click the generate button and then based on the scenario that you're creating, it is filling in the information. Now we have created a short scenario here where Vivian is reaching out, asking about gift wrapping options. We have the context that is provided to the agent. And of course, Vivian in this case is the virtual customer powered by the inverted chatbot that is reaching out and say, hi, I want to know what gift wrapping options are available. I'm very picky. I need my item delivered in a red wrapping paper with a yellow bow. And then we have Edward, who is happy to help Vivian in this case, and they have a conversation back and forth. And AI is being used to understand what the agent on the left-hand side is saying and then providing appropriate responses. And you can, of course, use AI to create customers with a history, so they could have reached out a number of times. They might be upset about long waiting times and things like that. So you can create the kind of scenarios that are difficult for agents to handle so they can be better prepared for it in the real world. When the scenario is over, then you go in and evaluate it. And again, you are applying AI to look at what was being said in the conversation, and then you can provide a summary that is going back to the agent. In this case, we can see that Edwin demonstrated excellent customer focus by addressing Vivian's specific needs and confirming the details of her request. At the bottom, there are also suggestions. So a suggestion is to acknowledge Vivian's pickiness and reassure her early on. And it becomes very concrete where it says Edward could have reassured Vivian about meeting her specific needs earlier in the conversation. And there is an example: I understand you have specific preferences and I'll do my best to meet them. And this is something that an agent would usually get from their manager. So the manager would have to go in to the customer service platform, or it could also be in a Google form or other place, and then they would review the responses from the agent after they've been through training, and then they would provide that feedback back to the agent. And that is, of course, extremely time consuming. There are also different components that you can set up. So what do you want to focus on? In this case, there are two examples. One is the agent customer focused enough? There's a description of the values that this particular company has, and then you have the factors that are being evaluated as part of this conversation. And that means that the model will know, in this conversation, I will look for exceptional service, I would look at understanding customer needs, and also exceeding expectations because they are aligned with the company brand. On the right-hand side, there's English proficiency, where the AI goes in and evaluates the conversations according to grammar accuracy, vocabulary range, clarity, fluency, and professionalism. And this is purely customizable because all organizations are different and want to measure things in a different way. And these AI models are quite powerful when it comes to interpreting text and then compare it to the values that you want to show to your customers. Taking this one step further, then we are evaluating the customer focus and we are providing the positive aspects of this conversation. So Edward addressed Vivian's specific needs, he ensured customer satisfaction, but he could have reassured Vivian about meeting her specific needs earlier in the conversation. Then it checks English proficiency, engagement, and also integrity. This was, of course, a really happy scenario where everything went well. We can also create another scenario. Let's say somebody bought something in Fortnite and they want to have a refund. In this case, Peter, he bought a level up quest pack and he is quite upset and he wants a refund. He doesn't want to discuss it. And if he doesn't get his way, he wants to speak to a manager. You can also, in this case, select what language the virtual customer speaks. So it could be English, Spanish, Danish, Swedish, Norwegian, whatever language you want the agents to be able to answer in. You can link it to a specific scenario. So if you have multiple brands and multiple products, this tells the AI model who is the customer actually reaching out to, so they're not saying something that can confuse the new agents. And in this case, we are checking some context for the agents as well, so telling the agent where they can find the information. It's not provided to the agent, but if it was, it is also something where the model would go in and evaluate whether they are adherent to the company policies. That could be, what is the return policy, 14 days, 30 days. If it is 30 days and the agent says 14 days, then the model will pick up that that is not adherent to the right policy. And that's also something that the AI models are extremely good at doing. In this example, Edward is trying to help Peter. And as you can see, Peter is quite upset about the experiences that he had. And he wants to talk to a manager and he wants to get his money back. But it cannot be achieved in this case because the level up quest pack is not part of the items that can be refunded. So when we're done with this conversation, we get a less happy summary. In this case, the agent demonstrated some level of engagement and patience, but failed to show adequate empathy and persuasiveness. The communication was clear, but lacked a customer-centric approach. There are also some very clear suggestions for providing alternative solutions or escalate the issue properly. There's also utilizing available resources more effectively. And an example that Edward could have said is, I will check our internal resource to see if there are any exceptions or special cases we can explore to assist you. And that, of course, gives an agent guidance for what they can do in the next situation to solve this in an even better way. And just like in the other example, we are also evaluating some parameters here: communication, empathy, patience, persuasiveness, questioning, and resource utilization. And the agent didn't do a very good job, so if I was Edward's manager, I would probably not set him live on real customers right now, because he is not going to provide a really good experience. And that means that I can go back, I can give him some more training, and then I can give another few scenarios where he can prove that he has actually improved the way that he's dealing with customers. Finally, we can also go in and we could look at performance analytics. So we can apply a model and look at how has the agent responded to previous conversations in the platform. So on the left-hand side, we have a skills radar that is built out of the different soft skills that you want to have evaluated. And something like persuasiveness and resource utilization are areas that this agent could focus on improving. The same goes for empathy. So there's a graphical representation where you can easily see what is it that I need to focus on to become better at. I can also see some positive traits on the right-hand side. There was a couple of scenarios, and then I actually ended up with a scenario on 9.8 in the gift wrapping option. So Edward did a pretty good job, and he has definitely improved over time. He started out with a 4. He got 4.3, and now he has 9.8 and a nice gold medal. So it's also something that is motivating for agents to get these achievements as they are progressing through the product. What are the benefits of utilizing technology in this way? So agents can make mistakes without any customer impact. Agents also know what kind of customers they can expect to deal with, something that can be quite scary for new agents. They also know what kind of questions they can expect those customers to pose. They also know when they're ready to handle real customer conversation, and especially empowering agents to know that they are ready for real customers is something that makes their job much more enjoyable for them, because many agents have been in situations where they were put on the front line and they weren't quite ready, and that resulted in a situation where they didn't feel good about the service that they were delivering, and the customer didn't get the help that they expected. Managers also know which agents are ready and which agents need more training, and evaluation is instant and uniform across agents. So in this case, we actually eliminate all the side-by-side training. We ensure that this happens right away and the feedback is given to the agents without the manager having to be involved. And that means that in this case, we can see one customer that is saving 70 hours a week. And they're doing this by utilizing AI, by taking over some of the manual tasks that they did before. So the previous process was for agents to go into a Google form and answer a question. That question and answer would then go into a Google Sheet, and then the training manager would go through the Google Sheet, and then they would rate the agent performance and grade it on 26 different parameters. After that, they would give direct feedback to the agents. And they actually did that twice. They did it on the first day the agent started, and then on the 4th day when they had completed training to see if there was a positive development in the agent skills. And of course, not having to spend the time on these manual reviews, providing feedback, gives a lot of time back to the organization that can be used to focus on other things. So AI can definitely move some resources around and also take over some very manual jobs that can be done better and more efficiently by AI. And of course, agents, they find having conversations with virtual customers much more engaging and fun than previous training methods. If you've ever been in a training scenario and you had some material that you had to read and review and understand, and then a multiple choice test or even answering questions in a form, it's not a lifelike scenario. You learn much better by actually doing, and this is where AI can come in and play the role of the customer and then create a fun scenario for agents. AI in CX report came out recently, and there's a really interesting quote that I wanted to bring today, and that is that companies willing to invest in and experiment with AI are setting the stage for the future of customer experience. And it's one that is more dynamic, personalized, and responsive than ever before. The landscape is being reshaped in real time with AI as the key differentiator. So it's really important to see AI as something that can assist the organization. It can be in regards to what a manager is doing. It can be in regards to what agents are doing. And other examples where AI can be really beneficial for agents, it is creating summary of conversations with customers. It can be used for translations, and it can also be used to identify contact reasons. And finally, you can go in and analyze contacts that have arrived within a certain period, and you can see why our customers contacting you. And that's something that would previously have been a very boring and manual task that can be automated and actually happen in a matter of minutes right now. So the key takeaways that I want to leave you with today is to start out by understanding what problem you want to solve. I see a lot of organizations that start with AI, and then they look at what problem can we solve with AI. And that inherently creates some challenges. So it's much better to start out seeing what are the different things that we're doing and what could we actually do to solve them. And you do that by starting by identifying manual tasks and see which one of those can actually be solved with AI. And look in your organization and see what are people actually doing. Look at what ChatGPT and other providers out there can do and see, is there a way where this manual task can actually be accomplished by a model? Because if you invest time in setting that up, you get a lot of time back because you don't have to do it manually anymore. It's also a good idea to start small and find one use case and then measure the results of what you implemented there and iterate and improve it. And when you have found one process or a few processes in your organization that you have applied AI to, you can copy that, and then you can also refine the implementations that actually works. So this is a process that will go on from now on and probably forever, which is really a good thing. And now I would like to open up for questions from the chat or of any of the other panelists.
Yeah, thank you so much, Tue. That was really great and really interesting to see how far you have come with this and how you use AI as the key differentiator in the solution. A question. So if you were to build this again, would you do something different in the way that you're using AI for this?
Probably. The way that we're doing it right now, we are really focusing on data privacy. So when you use these models, a lot of organizations don't want to share their data. They don't want to have their data used to improve the models. So we've set it up in a way where it is using OpenAI through Azure in Europe, meaning that we can actually set a flag so it's not using our data. We've also set it up in a way where it only uses the data transactional as the scenario is being played out. So we're not sending all our data to the model and then getting information back. So it's a RAG process that we're using. And of course, it takes a long time to arrive on that solution and find out what works and what doesn't work. I think if we could go back, we would probably spend a little more time on the prompts that we're using to both generate the virtual customers, but also to the evaluation, because the evaluation is really key in providing a solution to customers where they can eliminate some of the manual tasks. And it took a little while to actually understand exactly how we could solve it with the technology. And my recommendation for speeding up that process is to speak to your customer. So get the product that you're working on into the hands of either early adopters or existing customers and get their feedback, so you can use that feedback and actually improve it. And that's also something that we have seen, that the people that are using it, the different organizations, are providing a lot of feedback on how we can leverage AI to better meet their needs and expectations.
Mhm. And right now it is a solution that you're providing as a service. Is that correct understood? So you're hosting it and providing the service to them.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. Do you meet requirements from customers where they say, okay, because this is such important information, we would actually like to have it internally at us. We don't want to share the data at all.
That is questions that are coming up, and something that we see as a possible solution to it is that when you want to create a role play scenario inside the product, then you are actually able to go in and add a data source. And that data source can be a URL, so you could use a public knowledge base or an FAQ as the foundation for the scenario. And that means that it would be public available information anyway, and there would be no risk in sharing that information. Besides that, you could also pull information from your knowledge base if you are in Zendesk Help Center, if you are in Intercom or in Ellevio by Dixa. You can also import those knowledge base articles directly into the platform or use them as foundations for the scenarios. As the information is stored encrypted on our servers and we are only using them transactional as the scenario is being played out, there is very little risk for organizations, and that has been how we have solved it with existing customers.
Okay, perfect. So a final wrap-up question here regarding the future of AI. How do you see that?
I see AI will change the landscape of how you work, especially with customer service. Customers want to be able to handle more things themselves at their convenience and their time. And I'm convinced a lot of organizations will find ways to help that, because like I said previously, if you implement an automation using AI that can automate that process, you don't have to have a human doing it anymore. And that means that you can eliminate some of those tasks. There will always be a need to speak to a human, because chatbots can only solve so much. And there will also be diminishing returns. If you can solve maybe 60% of your incoming conversations with AI, the effort to go from 60 to 80% is probably as much as to go from 0 to 60. And again, if you want to go from 80 to 90, you also need to spend a lot of resources on it. And to be honest, ChatGPT came out a couple of years ago, and we kind of had very high expectations for what AI could do. There was a lot of hype about it, and I think a lot of organizations are a little bit disappointed now. They kind of woke up and said, like, you said that AI could do so much more. We have looked at it and we can't really find any way to implement it in our organizations. I've worked with a lot of organizations that are speaking a lot about AI, but when it comes down to what they have actually implemented, it's really negligible. So I think that we get to learn what these tools can do, and then we will take a little step back, and then we'll try to solve smaller cases in a better way, instead of trying to do a really big bang and solve everything with AI. And then, just like with any other tool, we're going to find out what specific use cases, which manual tasks that I'm handling today, can I hand over to AI and to automation that can solve it for me.
Perfect. Sounds really great too. And I totally agree. There's no doubt that going ahead, we will see that AI will be a differentiator in the market, and finding these good cases for where AI can really bring value. This is the exact core of this event series. So yeah, totally agree on that. And I can see you just shared your contact information. Super great. I'm sure people are willing to reach out to you if there's any questions.
Yes, you're very welcome to connect on LinkedIn, and if you want to take a test drive in SmartRole and see if you can hack the bot to make it do something or say something that it shouldn't, then you're very welcome to do that.
Perfect. All right, Tue. Thank you so much for your time and for sharing your knowledge. It was really great to have you here. And as a wrap up, I will encourage everybody who has some good use cases that have been put into production using AI, please share them with us so we all can learn and benefit from these experiences and learnings. So with that,
thank you so much. Thank you, Janne.
Thank you too. Thank you so much.
Have a wonderful weekend, everybody.
Bye.
You too.